Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you have time, please give this video a thumbs up, pass it on to somebody else who needs to hear this, and leave us a positive comment in the comment section. Today I want to know, have you ever had any issues dealing with anxiety? That's today's topic. So a woman said to me about a week ago, she inboxed me and she told me that she had been to a therapist, she had been to her family doctor, and both for anxiety and some depression. The depression, she said, isn't as severe as the anxiety. And she told me that the doctor put her on a anti-anxiety medication 6 months ago. Now, all this time she's been, at first he gave her one, it didn't work. He gave her another one. She's been trying out different prescriptions to see what will help with her anxiety. For 6 months, nothing has helped. She said her anxiety has not subsided at all. And she's been in talk therapy all this time and taking the anti-anxiety medicine. So she said now she wants to try and use some other, some holistic ways that, she can use together with talk therapy and this medication. So she came to me to see which crystals, which oils, which herbs help with anxiety, since she knew that I have encyclopedias with all that kind of information in them. So I sat and talked with her, did her consultation, did a reading for her, and I told her, which one she could use and gave her a list. And as we did the reading, I said to her, the thing that impresses upon me, the thing that comes across the strongest is that you never said what is the source of your anxiety. And I feel like if you're in any kind of talk therapy or you have any kind of mental health thing going on, the first thing you need to figure out is why. All of this time she's been in talk therapy and they still haven't tackled why this is happening to her. So I said to her, let's try to figure that out. Because if we can figure out why this is happening, maybe that will lead us to how to heal it. So she and I talked back and forth, and she told me a bunch of different things. And what I finally came up with was that her anxiety had a couple of different areas it was coming from, a couple different reasons. And I wanted to tell this to you guys because I think a lot of us suffer from these things. Many people who have anxiety are dealing with these. And I wanted to just point them out, and maybe it can help some of you out there who have anxiety. I dealt with anxiety and depression for a long time and was able to finally heal it. So I was able to understand what she was talking about. So first and foremost, I'm going to, for the first one, this is the first thing that's causing her anxiety. There's 6 things altogether, there's 6. And the first thing is, I'm going to tell you this quote. This is by Salvador Dali. And the quote says, "Have no fear of perfection. You'll never reach it." Now, what the heck is this talking about? First of all, Salvador, like myself, understands that the first thing that's bothering her, the first reason why her anxiety is so high, is because she's trying to strive for perfection. And perfection doesn't exist. She's a Virgo, by the way. This is something that they deal with a lot. And she said that, she's trying to be the perfect mother. She has children. She's trying to be the perfect wife. And she has a small business. So she's trying to be the perfect entrepreneur. So she's trying to be perfect in all these ways and juggle all these, hats simultaneously and not drop any of them. Does that sound like any of you out there? How many of us are juggling many different things at once and trying not to drop anything? That's what this woman is going through. And she's striving to be perfect, she said. She wants, her children to look clean and perfect at the bus stop, She doesn't leave the house until her makeup is perfect, She has this whole perfection thing going on. And it's causing her lots of stress trying to keep up something that doesn't exist. She's constantly comparing herself to the other ladies in the neighborhood and on the block and at the PTA meeting. And they're so perfect. Their hair is so perfect. Their souffle is so perfect. But guess what? Those people aren't perfect either. I have been around the world and I've never met a perfect person. All I've met is people who are working on themselves or people who need to work on themselves. One of the two. There is no perfection. It doesn't exist. Somebody said to me the other day, what makes you think you're so perfect? Some jerk in the comment section. And I was like, I didn't even respond. I just deleted him and blocked him and moved on with my life. But I was thinking to myself, this idiot thinks perfection is a real thing. That's like thinking unicorns are real in this time period. They might have been in ancient times, maybe. And that's a big maybe because we haven't found any fossils. But they're definitely not here now. It doesn't exist. Any doctrine that you look at from any spiritual system, from any time period, usually says that the only thing that's perfect is divinity, the supreme being, if you believe in a supreme being. That's all that's perfect. Nothing else can be. Everything else is flawed. So the very first thing that's causing her the most stress is the fact that she's trying to obtain something that's not real. She's trying to obtain something that's unobtainable. So she said, what should I do? I'm like, you got to work with this. You got to change this thought process. Instead of reaching for perfection, just reach to do the best you can. That's all I do. And that vibration calms things immediately. Once you get that understanding that perfection is a myth and all you really have to do is your best, whatever that may be. So that's the first thing that's really messing with her and it's really causing her problems. Sometimes she even has insomnia because of her anxiety. Number 2, she's trying to please everybody. How many people pleasers are out there? She's trying to please her kids. She's trying to please her husband. She's trying to please her clients. She's trying to please her family members. She's trying to please her friends. She's trying to keep everybody happy with her. And that shit is going to drive you crazy. You cannot please everybody because everybody wants something different. They even want something different from you. If I ask 5 friends the same question, I might get 5 different answers. So trying to please everybody in your life and in your family is impossible. Again, doing the best you can. And this is something that a lot of women, a lot of people, especially a lot of parents struggle with. Trying to keep their kids happy, trying to give them the things that they want and still keep food on the table. Something has to give. You can't please everybody. So you just gotta, again, do the best you can. 3, fearing change. She is so afraid of change. She was telling me about how a situation occurred and her husband was saying he wasn't sure, he's still not sure, if they would have to move to a different state. And she said that she was so worried about it, she could not sleep. And I was like, why are you worried about this change? It could be a good thing. You could move to another state and make new friends. It could be wonderful. It could be, who knows? It's whatever you make it, whatever you choose to manifest. But instead, she's fearing the change because she doesn't know what's going to happen. And we all fear change, some of us more than others. And I said to her, you have to just see it as a new adventure and not be afraid of things changing. Because guess what? That's the one constant in this world is change. Everything changes eventually. Nothing stays the same. I've been alive for 42 going on 43 years. And I've seen so many changes. When I was a young girl, we didn't even have the internet. There was no YouTube. Look at all those changes. So, I mean, you can't fear change. It's going to keep happening. So start to get a healthier idea in your mind, because all these things I've said so far and the things I'm going to continue with on this list are all up here. You got to get your head right. And it's not about taking medicine. It's not about any of that. It's about really just getting your head right, talking to yourself, getting yourself in the right frame of mind. That's all it is. The next one says, living in the past. She had so many regrets. Like, her reading turned up so many regrets and old hurts, old wounds. This woman is older than me, and she's still holding on to things from childhood. And a lot of us are. Can't even, you can't even criticize it, because a lot of us are holding on to things from that far back. And I was like, you have to stop living in the past, because all of that vibration is showing up in your present, and it's going to keep showing up in your future. So she has to heal, forgive, and release the past. Big issue going on. Putting herself down. I've never heard somebody put themselves down as much as I heard her put herself down. And just not giving herself no love, no credit. I mean, this woman's business is successful. Her children look fine to me. They go into good schools. They look fine to me. Her husband looks good. Her house looks good. I mean, she's doing all the things that she needs to do. But because she's not perfect, which goes back to number one, she keeps putting herself down. Every night, she told me, she lays there and thinks about all the stuff that she didn't accomplish. And I was like, I'll lay in bed and think about all the things I did accomplish and what I want to work on tomorrow. Why are you torturing yourself? Why are you laying in the bed torturing yourself, telling yourself, oh, you're stupid, you didn't do this, you're not, smart enough, you're not fast enough, you're not this, you're not that. And I'm like, why are you putting yourself down? So on the flip of this, she needs to give herself more self-love. And for that, I told her to use this. It's called the Love Yourself Workbook by Louise L. Hay. I give that book to almost everybody I come across who has a self-love issue, because I used it a long time ago and it helped me a lot. So I'm like, you got to stop putting yourself down. You got to start speaking life to yourself. When you make a mistake, you got to just say to yourself, okay, I made a mistake. I'm going to do better next time, and move on. Beating yourself up about it. And I've been telling my daughter this since she was a child, because my daughter's a Scorpio and she has all this emotional energy. So whenever she does something wrong, she's so down on herself. And I'm like, girl, everybody makes mistakes. Just resign in your mind, decide in your mind you're going to do better next time, and move on. And this is what I told this woman. So all that putting yourself down and beating yourself up, that doesn't help you or anybody else. It just basically, it ensures that you're probably going to, be anxious the next time it's time to do that particular activity. And the last one, number 7, overthinking. Aquarius do a lot of overthinking too, and so do Virgos. But she's doing a lot of overthinking. And I understand this because I've been guilty of this, obviously, especially before I go on a trip. Before I go on a trip, I'm always overthinking my plans over and over, my list over and over. And I told her, I said, you are overthinking 365 days of the year. Your brain, no wonder you have anxiety. No wonder you can't sleep. Your brain is on go, 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 go constantly. And then when you do have 15 minutes to put your feet up and lay back, you're overthinking all the things you didn't do, all the things you didn't do right, what happened in the past, fearing about change, trying to please everybody, wondering why you can't be perfect. So you're torturing yourself all the time. So many of us, I like to put myself in it too, many of us have experienced these 7 things. So if you have anxiety and your anxiety is on overdrive, think about these 7 things and if any of these 7 are your problem. And if they are one or all of them, please try to work at stopping your mind from doing these things. You can control your mind through meditation. That's what meditation is for. It teaches you how to slow down the mind and get control of it. So another thing that I told her when I finished going through this list, I said, you need to meditate every day. It will give you the ability to slow down and control your mind. So you can stop yourself when these disturbing thoughts start to well up in your mind. So if you're experiencing this, if you have an anxiety issue, please try to figure out which of these, if any, is the culprit. And if none of these are the culprit, figure out what is the culprit. This woman worked on this for 6 months before she met me without knowing her culprits. And she had 7 of them. Some people will have all of these. Some people might have 1 or a few, but we're all different. So figure out what your culprits are and then try to heal them. Because as you can see, no amount of medicine, no amount of talk therapy is going to change anxiety while this disturbing chatter is going on in your mind. Okay? All right, guys. I really, really hope this helps. Let me know in the comments section about your anxiety, or if you suffer from any of these, or if you have any to add to the list. Because I'm sure there's other things that cause people anxiety, such as, as I was talking, I was thinking about work, the demands at work. That can go on this list too. We talked about family and other things like that. And some of these things do have to do with work, but work specifically is another one. And for some people, the work one is that they're not in the right job. They're not in the right profession. So some of us have to look at that, because when my anxiety was at its height, at its worst, was when I was working at a job that I didn't belong at. Aquarius, you know how we are. We do much better by ourselves, especially in work environments. And it wasn't until I started working for myself, until I started being, free agent, basically, that anxiety from work went away. Now it doesn't matter how many readings I have to do, how many videos I have to record. It doesn't matter. I don't have anxiety because of it. Because I like it. I enjoy doing videos. I enjoy, coloring my face and coming and talking to you guys. I enjoy talking to people and helping them heal their traumas and talk their way through during readings. I love that. So I don't get anxiety with it. But when I had every other job, I had anxiety around it. Anxiety around doing a good job, anxiety around who didn't like me, anxiety around what my bosses thought, anxiety around all that kind of thing. So if we wanted to add number 8 on our list, I think that might have been 7, 6. I think we had 6 to start off with, and I added 1 more, so that would be number 7. So if we wanted to take a look at a number 7 for our list, looking at your job situation is also another one that could be on this list. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. If you would like to get a reading done, please email me. And if you want to chat with me, I am on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram a lot. I love Instagram. Instagram has these live sales on there, these live crystal sales, and I'm always looking at crystals nowadays. So I really love that. Anyway, also my Patreon information is underneath this video, and a whole bunch of other good stuff that you may be interested in. So check it out and come back soon, because you already know I got a lot more to say. See you later.